fascinates me? That there isn't some type of class or orientation or introduction for anyone who wants to use the internet. It's just, here's the internet, have fun with it. But I think a lot of times people don't realize that the internet is literally the most powerful tool that we've ever had in human history. This power to be able to connect with anywhere, anyone, anytime, the ability to access infinite amounts of information and data and all of this, like, this is new to our society. And because my mission with ShareSpark is to promote digital literacy, I feel like it's my responsibility to lay down some foundationary ground rules. These rules are a culmination of my experience as both a creator and a consumer, all of my research, and all of the time that I spent on as many platforms as I can. All of that has led to these 5 rules on utilizing digital media. After watching this video, please leave me a comment. I'd really love to know what you think. 2 things you need to know before I go into the rules. 1, what is digital media? Anything that connects to the internet is digital media. The second thing is the idea of a creator. A creator is anyone who creates digital media. It might be hard to think of yourself as a digital media creator, but if you've ever posted anything, a photo, a video, a snap, a tweet, or if you have created something on digital media, you are a digital media creator. On to the rules. Rule number 1, create infinitely. I think it's easy to forget that digital media is a form of art. It's a form of self-expression. Most people think of using social media to communicate with other people. But when you think about it, that's what artists also do with their pieces of art. They are trying to communicate something through their creations. With the digital media that exists today, there are a million different ways that I can communicate a message. I can use all these different platforms. Do I use this filter or that filter? Do I make a 2-minute video or 5-minute video? Where do I put the lighting? What do I wear? What do I say? What do I type? What do I text? All these things. There's a million things that go into crafting something and creating something with digital media, and all of that requires creativity. Anytime you create something, you're putting yourself out there. What you create is a reflection of the time, the energy, thought, the planning, your mood, your personality. All of that is reflected in whatever you create. And I think that's what makes it so hard to create something, is because people get scared of how other people are going to react. Traditional artists didn't have data, okay? They couldn't create a sculpture and then see how many likes it got. Their passion just was the only thing driving them to create that art form. And that's how it should be for us as creators. Create because you want to. Create for yourself. Like, that should be the only reason why you're creating. The more you create, the more you'll discover your own cadence and your style and your interests and your preference and your way of doing things when you create digital media. Rule number 2, communicate positively. So this is number 2 because it's probably the second thing I get most passionate about, and not in a good way, in a really angry way. Going off of number 1, it takes a lot for a creator or an artist to make something using digital media and put it out there for all of the world to see. You are bound to find something, whether it's a post, a website, a tweet, a picture, a video, a comment, whatever. You are bound to find something that you think is stupid or dumb, or you are offended by it and you're just offended by this person in general. That doesn't mean that you then have to use your own creative abilities to create something negative in response to someone else's creation. In other words, don't leave a hurtful or hateful comment for that person to see or for other people to see. A few months ago, I was browsing through an app called Musical.ly, and there was a girl from Korea who had really cool hip-hop dance videos. On one of the videos, there was this one girl who had just been spamming hurtful comment after hurtful comment. You look anorexic, you look stupid, you look like you're having a seizure, you look dumb, that's not dancing, blah, 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 blah. Well, I decided to check out this girl's profile, and she's a sweet little girl, 11 years old, from somewhere in the US. And the last line in her profile says this: spread love, not hate. I will never forget that. I will never forget that because it's just like, I'm so angry about it that I can't even. I realize that this girl is 11 years old. She doesn't know any better. But this is what I'm talking about. It's like, who is regulating this? Who is showing that girl that that's wrong? That's wrong. Can we all agree that that's wrong? You don't have to like spam. And just what really got under my skin about the whole thing is that this girl did not have any videos of her own. That's what kills me. If you have not created something, then you have no right to put someone down for doing that. It takes a lot of someone, again, to put themselves out there. Putting someone down because you don't like what they created is just wrong. Let me explain it this way, okay? So I've been to many a museum in my life. Museums in downtown LA, when I'm traveling all over the world, and there's always a section on like modern art. To me, so much of modern art looks like someone took a paint can and just splattered it all over a canvas, and someone was like, wow, there's so much depth and dimension in this piece. Let's hang it out front and center of the museum because it's just so amazing. When I look at this thing, I'm like, I'm almost positive I can make something better. My dog can make something better, but I would never say that. I understand that a lot of that artist went into creating that piece. I just know that. I know that maybe they were going through a dark time, or maybe they're using some technique that I'm just not familiar with, or whatever. That either way, that piece is a reflection of that artist. I would never criticize it. I don't like it. But I'm not gonna take out a piece of paper and pen and write, hey, this art sucks. Like, you suck, you don't know how to paint, and just leave it right under the painting for everyone in the museum to see, for that artist to see. I would never do that. And I feel like that is what people are doing when they leave hateful and hurtful comments on other people's pieces of digital media. It's so easy to hide behind the anonymity of the internet. You are hiding behind a device. You are hiding behind your laptop or your phone or your camera. Would you say those hateful or hurtful comments to that person's face? Bullying is bullying no matter where you do it, whether it happens in the playground, in the workplace, online, it doesn't matter. Bullying is bullying and it's wrong. If you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. If there's something online that you do not like, just click out of it. There's literally millions, if not trillions, of other types of content that you can look at and access within 5 seconds. Number 3, connect open-mindedly. This goes off of the second rule. You're bound to run into someone that has views that are completely opposite of yours. That's the power of the internet. It's making the world smaller. So that means different experiences, different backgrounds, different orientation, different upbringings, different walks of life. And I think it's important to be aware of that. Someone might have completely opposing views to you, but it's not impossible to still get along with that person. You can have an exchange of opinion, and maybe at the end of the day you agree to disagree, but it's also a learning experience for you personally if you understand where that person is coming from. I think that makes you a more worldly person and wise person and a more understanding person of the world. Rule number 4, consume consciously. This one has 2 parts. The first is that every single moment you spend on consuming digital media is a moment that you are not creating digital media. I try to limit how many snaps I watch a day, how much time I spend on Facebook or Instagram. I think it's important to look for inspiration, but again, all of these platforms are still new, and the way that we're supposed to use them is still being defined, and you could be a part of that. The second part is to understand and be aware of the content that you choose to digest. There's so many times where you are looking at an ad, but you just don't realize it. So the next time you're online, try to be aware of the amount of time that you're spending consuming other people's media and the types of content that you are consuming. And finally, rule number 5, disclose carefully. Privacy. I realize it's a very sensitive issue, and it's something that a lot of us are feeling that we have less of. But it's also something that people voluntarily give up. If you are using Facebook, if you are using Google, if you have a smartphone, if you use a GPS map service like Google Maps or Waze, you are voluntarily giving your information to these companies. They are not forcing you to use their platforms. That is your choice. Anytime you enter something into Google Maps on your phone, someone somewhere knows where your starting point is and where you're going. They probably know where you live, they probably know where you work, they know where you go on the weekends, they know where you go after work and whatever. It sounds really big brothery, and especially when you use the word tracked. But to me, I'm personally willing to sacrifice a little privacy and have someone know where I'm going so that I could also know where I'm going. If I didn't use GPS services, I just wouldn't know where to go. It's important to be aware that all of your online behavior is being tracked. And I don't want to say the word tracked because that implies that someone's like watching your every move. It's not that, it's just that all of your clicks and views and the pages that you visit and the things that you share, the data is being recorded somewhere. And these companies are using all the data that they collect to make trends so that they can update their platforms or share it with their advertising partners or whatever. Facebook has enough data to say that on Monday mornings, women tend to be more depressed. If I were Facebook, and I'm not 100% sure if this is what they do, but I would cater women's news feeds to see things that are more inspiring and products that are supposed to make you happy, and more cat videos and things that make me laugh and things just to give you that extra push that you need to get through the Monday morning slump. Now, as a user of Facebook and as a consumer and as a woman, I would appreciate that. I wouldn't be mad at that. But if I were to post that, hey, I'm going on vacation for the entire month of August and then my house gets robbed, I would be upset about that. It comes down to what data is collected and how is it used. So those are the 5 rules for utilizing digital media. Again, I would love your feedback. For more tips, tutorials, and how-tos on everything digital media and digital literacy, please subscribe to our channel. This is Heather with ShareSpark Media. ShareSpark. Share your story, spark your potential. Hi everyone, Heather here from ShareSpark, and today we're going to be talking about LinkedIn for students. This is mostly going to be focusing on high school students, but if you're in college and you haven't made a LinkedIn profile yet, a lot of the info will be applicable to you as well.